I grew up acting, right? I took 10 years of stage performance and improv. I did a little bit of television acting studies, but mostly my focus was improv and stage performance. And so I understand that like there's people who are better at acting than others. The problem is not like, oh, well, I was better for the role, so I got it. It's that disabled actors and a lot of other minority communities, like we're not even really given the opportunity to go to the audition. Like we're rarely given the opportunity to even be in the room. And I myself have faced discrimination within the mainstream media industry, the acting community. Like I've been down to top 2 for blind female characters 3 or 4 times now. Top 2, meaning I had enough talent. I went through 2 to 3 rounds of auditions and was in the final room with all the execs, the producers, the directors, the writers, and it's against me and one other girl. And guess what? Every time I lost that role to a sighted woman. Every time for a blind character. So no, I don't think it's about talent at that point because we're down to top 2 at this point. I had the talent to get there. At this point, it's about something more than that. And my old assistant was an aspiring actor. As I think, when you have an assistant in LA, they often have their side hustle of acting. And so I would always, whenever she wanted to go on an audition, she'd go off. And she was on set one day and she came to me afterwards and she's like, we were all sitting on set in one of our filming breaks and we were chatting about what we do outside of acting. And I was telling them that I'm your assistant and they all started saying to me like, well, how could she be safe on a set? Like she would be a liability. She could walk into things. How would she walk on and hit her mark and know where to look at the camera? How would she? And she was like, I couldn't believe like these people were making such discriminatory remarks with having never even met you or seen what you're capable of, just hearing one fact about you, that you have a disability. And that's the sad truth, is that at a certain point, it doesn't matter how talented I am or how talented anybody is, when there's a reason to discriminate, even when it's subconscious, sometimes people just do. Sometimes people just do. And that's what's hard. And for an able-bodied, cisgendered actor, there are so many roles that you can play. Yeah. There are so many roles for you. But as a trans character or as a disabled character, there's very few roles for those minority communities in particular, right? And so when we have way less opportunity, because we're not even at the point yet where anybody would consider letting a person in a wheelchair or a deaf person or a blind person play an able-bodied character. So what I say to somebody saying like, oh, well, if I'm more talented, it doesn't matter that I'm not trans playing a trans character, that I'm not disabled playing a disabled character. Okay, fine. That's fine when disabled people are allowed to play able-bodied characters. That's fine when trans actors are being allowed to play cisgendered characters. When we're actually getting equal opportunity, you can get equal opportunity and you can come for our roles.
Yeah, I agree. So what you spoke about are the other actors on your old assistant's set. And, they just kind of discriminated without even thinking. Or what do you think that stems from? Is it just, the lack of education as a young person?
It's the lack of education and how we've been represented, right? Like, if you think about a lot of blind characters in movies, the very few that there have been in movies or TV shows, they're often wearing dark sunglasses. They're often quite reliant on other people. They're feeling people's faces. I don't know. We've hung out a few times. Have I ever gone out of my way to feel your face when it wasn't as a joke for the video?
Just as a joke for the video. That was it.
But it's not like when we hung out and met pre-filming. It wasn't like I was like, hey, nice to meet you guys, feeling up your face. But so why the heck are we being portrayed that way always? Why? And so all of these negative, harmful stereotypes bleed into affecting real people's lives.